This is what people generally think of when you mention surfing: Hawaii, Waikiki, Diamond Head, and surfboards. They've ridden these boards for 300 or 400 years, but it's only been in the last 10 years or so that surfing has become popular. With the invention of fiberglass, mainlanders can go to Waikiki, rent a board for a nominal sum per hour, and go out surfing. The beach itself has changed very little since the war. Usually a tourist's exposure to surfing is in an outrigger canoe. And there, under the guidance of a beach boy, we paddle out. Catch a wave and ride in. Now ours comes and it's stroke, stroke, stroke. Then the wave lifts the stern of the outrigger up, and you start accelerating 10, 15, 20, 25 miles an hour. And alongside the Beach Boys. A lot of Hawaiian culture is wrapped up in these surfboards, and a lot of the culture is wrapped up in the outrigger canoes themselves, for they brought the first islanders from some remote atoll in the Pacific. A lot of the Hawaiian culture is also wrapped up in the dance, the hula. The language barriers of the islands has been breached by telling stories with the movements of the hands. Notice the stories they tell. A mainlander can learn the fundamentals of the hula very rapidly, in a matter of a few minutes. But a real artist can tell a wonderful story just with her hands alone. Notice the hands. For some reason, most of the people that go to the Hawaiian Islands never leave the city of Honolulu. However, you can rent a car or go in a bus over to the other side of the island. And away from the cities, you can see the main crops of Honolulu, the pineapple, the large sugarcane plantations. Out in some of the small villages, a little illegal entertainment. And the native children are like children anywhere in the world. Cute and irresistible. But our trip to Honolulu was to ride a surfboard. And these surfboards vary in width from 18 to 22 inches. They vary in weight from 20 to 50 pounds, and you put paraffin on the deck of the surfboard to keep your feet from slipping when you ride in on a wave. They vary in length from 8 feet to an extremely long board used exclusively for paddling, which might be 17 or 18 feet in length and weigh only 20 pounds. Most people don't like to just go paddling, So let's go sit outside at one of the beaches and ride a few waves. The surfboards are steered by shifting the weight. You can lean backwards, forward, to one side or the other. If you want to turn in a hurry, you put your foot in the water alongside the edge of the board near the stern. When you go to pull out of the wave, you just step on the back of the board, push the tail down, the nose pops up, and you're through your ride. The object as you ride the wave is to stay ahead of where it breaks. When the wave breaks in front of you, you simply straighten the board out, mush down to the bottom of the wave, get back on a little bit of an angle again, and still stay ahead of where it breaks. You get out in front, again you mush your board a little and wait for the wave to get steep, which sometimes it does. To compare spilling on a surfboard with, for example, water skiing, it would be the same as if you fell while water skiing at about 40 miles an hour. You fell in front of the boat, but above all, be graceful. While the waves are large at one beach, back on the western side at Waikiki, they can be only 2 or 3 feet in height, just right for the beginners. On the southeastern end, near a place called Makapu, the coastline is all volcanic, much too dangerous to ride a surfboard. But not too dangerous to go swimming, if you know what you're doing. But at Makapu, the body surfing is probably the best of any place in the world. When you body surf, you have no board of any kind, just a pair of swim fins and a bathing suit. You catch the wave just as it breaks. You ride off on an angle just as though you're on a surfboard. When the waves get steep, you can stick out your inside arm like an outrigger. It keeps you from skidding down sideways. If you're really good, you can ride on your back. The drive from one end of the island to the other around the back way might take as long as a half a day. The road's narrow, and whatever you do, don't make the trip at high tide. We finally arrived at the northwestern tip of the island to a beach called Makaha, fabled in song and story. Over the last 10 years, it's become the testing grounds of the world's champion surfers. We were lucky. We got there one morning when the surf was up. The surfers were out of bed at 6:45. And while the wives watched, we paddled out and sat around for a little while, and then the whole horizon stood on end. To compare riding waves of this size to snow skiing would be to imagine yourself shussing the head wall at Tuckerman's Ravine while standing on a toboggan and trying to outrun an avalanche. barefooted. Waves of this size are traveling towards the beach at about 25 miles an hour. However, as you ride across the front of them, you can approach speeds of almost 40 miles an hour. I was showing these films one night in Milwaukee, and somebody came up after the show and asked me, he said, "What happens to these fellas?" "They die." When everything's just right, you can go just about 40 miles an hour. But the real thrill in surfing lies in the delicate balance you can keep in yourself in total oblivion. Sometimes this balance can be measured in a matter of inches. Sometimes the balance is in the other direction.